All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of In the Sheds. I'm in another shed. I'm down in Melbourne, and I'm here with the man, Johny Ricca. Mate, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, yeah. Yourself?
Mate, I'm well. Mate, I feel like I've got a lot of questions to ask you today, so let's brace ourselves. Talk to me, mate. How did we get into cars? Where did it all start for you, brother?
I don't know, really. I've always loved them. So my dad and my uncle used to always play around with cars.
Yep.
Always doing something with them. And I think, just watching them guys and
Yep.
that sort of caught my attention and, got me sort of heading in that direction.
Yeah. At what point did you know you had the bug?
Oh, I don't know, really. I think when I was about 16, I'm going to say.
Yep.
I think when I was about 14, 15, my mum used to drop me and my mates off down at Calder Park for the Nationals and that in the late 90s.
Is that far from here?
It's about 20 minutes from here.
Okay.
Yeah, so she used to drop us off down there and we go run around there for the day, watch her racing and and the dragsters and all that. And, and she'd come pick us up later on and we loved it. So it's just sort of stemmed from there.
And then now you've sort of built, I guess we could say, like car empires in what's going on. Hey, you've had a few fast cars.
Yeah, there's been a few that have gone pretty quick.
What was your first car?
My first car was I remember I went to the auctions and a mate of mine was looking at buying a car, and I went there and there was a VP BT1, so an ex-cop car.
Wow,
a 5 litre.
Yep.
And I was 16 at the time, and I bought it. And I put some bids in and got it for a pretty cheap price.
Yeah, right.
It sort of started from there. So I think that was my first car, and then just
in this scenario. I feel like I've noticed, especially in Melbourne, predominantly a lot of the BT1s, like people froth them. Hey, they're everywhere.
Yeah, it's a big thing in Vic, that's for sure.
What's the appeal with it?
I don't know. Just I think being an ex-cop car, and I think it's sort of again stemmed from like the yellow VL BT1s and the VK BT1s. They were different because you couldn't buy a yellow VL Commodore. Yeah. They only came in the BT1, so they were quite rare.
Yeah, of course. So if you had one, you were sort of hitting a bit.
Yeah, and it sort of just rolled on from there. So, they've always been pretty big. Yeah. Pretty big Melbourne thing, BT1s.
And then obviously the progression for you to go faster, like first drag car that you had or first car that you took to the drags, what was that?
I built a VH Commodore. Yep. It was a 308, straight avgas.
Yep. Back in the good times.
Yeah, so that's going back now. I would have been 18.
Yep.
We took it to the racetrack, and I think first time out, it went 11:20 at like 119 mile an hour. And
that's pretty good, bud. NA?
Yeah, it was back then. Like, it was quite quick. And
how long ago are we talking?
19, so I'm 40 now. So 21 years ago.
Sure. You look good for 40.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah,
debatable?
Yeah, that's debatable.
What would Zabolic say?
Oh, you don't want to know what he'd say. Yeah, I get called all sorts from him, but and vice versa.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, we'll leave that for
I'm off the go.
Yeah. But yeah, so the VH sort of kicked things off, and then I think I had the bug from then. I just couldn't shake it. I just wanted to go quicker and quicker and quicker, and I'd set realistic goals.
Yep.
And then I wouldn't stop until I got there.
Are you a bit obsessive about that? Like once you say you're doing something, it has to happen?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So you've gone from an 11-second car to a 350s in the 8th mile.
349.
349, well, yeah.
On radials.
Yeah.
Big tyres, we've been 350s, 355 in quarter mile trim. But that was in outlaw trim, so it wasn't.
So for the people that don't understand the trim difference, like obviously there's so many different rules over in America to make it far more competitive. What's the difference between an outlaw trim versus like whatever other trims that are around?
Outlaws, pretty much no rules.
Yeah, sure.
So as light as you can get it.
Yep.
As much boost as you can get in it.
Right.
And send it.
Okay. And you did?
Yeah, we did. So we went to Bradenton just before Christmas.
Yep.
November.
Yep.
And we tested for the week.
Yeah.
And it was a new car. So we just wanted to get a feel for it and, just get our head around it all.
Yep.
We run our own team with turning the car over over there.
Yeah.
And we pretty much ran the car ourselves. We had petty tuning with Paul.
Yep.
And Andy was helping as well. So
what's that like, brother, as an experience to go? I mean, obviously you've been over to America many times before, but to go over there and do what you did, like one, put Victor on the trailer, like...
Yeah, so that was at World Series of Pro Mod.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm jumping around a bit here, but just talk about that. Like that's a huge thing.
Yeah, it was cool.
In a field full of killers, like.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is we go over with no expectations. We didn't go over there to say, all right, we're going to win this or we're going to do this or that. We just set realistic goals.
Yeah.
And yeah, like
the car do the talking.
Yeah, initially in outlaw trim, I would have been happy to run the 550s quarter mile, like 558, 559 I would have been wrapped. And the car went to 537, which is...
And that's the world record. So screw blown, yeah?
And so supercharged. So there's never been any sort of supercharged car go quicker.
You've got a video of that, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. We're going to load that in if that's all right, to show people just how badass that is.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah.
It went 271 mile an hour the pass before. That pass, it went 270. And just trying to pull the thing up, like it's wild. So
what's it feel like? Like as soon as you let go of that button, like what's going through your head?
It's just, I don't know, it just happens so quick, you let go of the button, then, you're trying to keep the car straight. Yeah. And then, once the car sort of settles, then, you get your hand on the chute and just, watching the finish line.
And the difference between a radial and that big tyre, like what do you prefer to drive? Like
It's a tough one. Yeah. Like I had a few people at the last trip because we did it back to back.
Yeah.
We're at lights out the weekend before and then we converted the car over to big tyre for the week after.
Yeah.
We had 2 days to convert the car.
Yeah. And which just is badass.
Yeah, there was so much work to do. Like our crew killed it.
Yeah.
They were so good.
Yeah.
We just had guys on the engine, Steph, Manny, then Andy and myself were sort of doing the transmission.
Yep.
Dougie and Paul were doing the rear end.
Yep.
So, and Adam with the mow, was doing what Adam does.
He's always with your pit crew up notice, eh? Everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Always see the man with the cool moustache.
Twirling the mow. He's the, I'm going to call him maybe supervisor.
Yep.
He's good at probably bringing me into the beams and he's the party planner.
Okay. Yeah.
So, if anything goes well and there's, a bit of drinking to be done, he's the man to see.
Yep, sure.
But the boys killed it. Converting the car over. It was pissing down with rain.
So you're not just doing one little change, like that's the whole car.
Yeah, so in radial trim, we run 128 overdrive.
Yep.
And we're running at 2650 pound, but obviously a smaller tyre, so just everything changes. So when we went from radial to big tyre, we had to change pistons, so we change a rack, so rods and pistons. So we run more comp because we're running less overdrive.
Right.
So we went from 128 overdrive, so we had to change the pulleys and belts to 75 overdrive.
Okay.
Transmission ratio changes. So that all changed. We went from a lock-up converter to a non-lock-up converter at World Series. We had to change rear shock.
Why do you do that?
It just, because the rules are different. So, and then Petty just tells us what he wants us to do. So,
and he's got the blueprint. He knows what's up.
100%. So he goes, all right, so at radial, we're like, all right, we're running a lock-up, 128 over, and we're running at 2650 pound. For World Series of Pro Mod, we were non-lock-up, 75 overdrive, so 20 pound less boost. And big tyre, so obviously we got to, and we're running at 2600 pound at 75 over. Okay. So we change the pistons, change the rods, we change the pulleys and the overdrive, transmission, converter, diff center, because different ratio, rear shocks, rear tyres, we have to add the wheelie bars, anti-roll bar link.
Everything.
There's a lot. So we're pretty much rebuilding the car again.
In 2 days in the rain and then going off to not just another test, like the biggest event, probably arguably in the world, would you say, with the World Series?
I'd say so at the moment. Like we were blown away. Lights Out was cool. It was really cool. But then going to World Series was
it 80 something pro mods and you had to qualify to 300, 360?
83 pro mods entered. It's invite only. So they check you out. They make sure, you guys know what you're doing. They watch your processes. They watch what you've done. And if you're good enough, you make a cut.
What was the biggest takeaway for you out of that as a racer and as a business owner? Like, where do you go from there? What's next for you?
I'm not sure really. So the whole concept and the rules that we ran out there blew us away. And and how close it was to racing. You know, like the top 32 cars were separated by 0.05 of a second.
That is crazy.
I think the top 60 odd cars were separated by 1/10 of a second. So I'm talking 357 to 367 was the top 60 cars.
As a spectator, you want to see that door-to-door racing. Like, that's bad.
For sure. Yeah. Yep. And because the teams are professionals and they're so good, like they ran 80 odd cars in 2 hours.
Wow.
It was just, you know, one after the other. It was like clockwork. It just,
they've got a good program and they know what works.
For sure. Yeah.
How do we do that here?
Well, we're in the process now. We've been speaking with Wes. Paul's been speaking with Wes. Bahia.
Yeah.
And we're in the process of getting this happening in Australia. So it has to be done.
Yeah. That's cool.
It keeps it fair for everyone, the rule set. Yeah. So it's not about who's got the biggest budget or who's got the best team or whatever. Look, it just keeps it fair for everyone.
Sure.
And competitive. So I think adapting that rule set here in Australia, seeing all the power adders running, you know, like at World Series, there was in the top 10, there was I think there was 2 nitrous cars, 3 turbo cars, screw cars at 75 over as well as 92 overdrive, and procharger cars. So they were all in there. So it just shows how,
which is good to see, because I feel like in Australia it was just blah, 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 blah. Every now and then you'd have a turbo.
Yeah. So it was, just a bit all over the shop. And I think, I think this is going to be massive. Yeah, I think this is pretty cool.
So you're in the process of trying to get something started over in Australia? Like, can you talk a bit more about it, or?
Yeah, so we're in talks with the tracks at the moment. It's definitely happening this year. So 2025. Yeah. We haven't 100% locked in dates just yet. Yeah. But it's looking like it's going to be early August.
Yeah, sick. If people want to try get on board with this and they're listening now and they have a car, what's the best way to get in contact with you to try figure out some details?
Well, we're going to put expressions of interest up shortly. Which will be, I'm going to say maybe next Sunday. Yeah. So about a week away. Yep. Give or take. Yeah, so depending on, you know, if we get everything locked away. And then people can reach out. So there's going to be like a World Series class, which will be invite only. Cool. And you need to meet a certain criteria to be able to race in it.
Hold the standard.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool. So that's a big thing that Wes feels strongly about with overseas. So, you know, rather than just letting everyone in, he wants to keep the field tight. Totally. And just keep it competitive and professional. So,
I mean, look, let's face it, as a spectator only, you want to see the best of the best. Like,
definitely. Yeah. 100%. So, it's probably going to be 16 car fields. Yeah. There's going to be other classes as well. Yeah. So there'll be like a World Series class. Yeah. Then there'll be like a Pro Mod class. Yep. For guys that, you know, just don't quite make the cut. Yep. Then there'll be a Pro 10.5. Yep. A 28-inch tyre no time. Yep. And like a little gangsters class. Yeah. It could be a 530 in-dash recon type deal. 28-inch tyre.
Yeah, perfect. Which I feel like would appeal to a lot of people that want to get part of it. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's badass. Yeah, mate, I wanted to ask you this question for a while because you've driven a few different power adders. What is your favourite?
It's a tough one. The turbo cars are wild to drive. Yeah. Like just the way the power comes in. Like they're not super quick early. Yeah. But they just don't let off.
Yeah, 100%.
Like once they wind up, they just keep going. So the turbo cars are wild. But I don't know. For me, the screw car's been unbeatable. Like, for what it's done, you know.
Do you like the reliability and the tunability of them, or what?
Just everything. Like everyone says how much more work a screw car is over, say, a turbo car. Yeah. But we don't find that to be the case. Like it doesn't seem to be any more work than what we were doing with the turbo car. So, you know, you get the car back, you cool it down, you check the rockers.
Sure.
You know, that's about it. So it's not too much more work. And I think it being full EFI, helps as well with that side of things. So
I feel from my old combo, that twin turbo LS thing to the crane driven blow I've had now, that freight train in the deep end of the turbos, I sort of do miss that a bit. But that feeling of it, or the sound, especially of a big cranky, big block thing,
you can't beat the sound of a pro-charged or screw blown deal. Like they're wild. Yeah. The sound's off its head, but yeah, it's a tough one. So yeah, I don't know. The screw car's been perfect for us. I'm going to say the screw car.
Yep. Now, what in the haven't even asked this. Your favorite type of car, if you were to build one again right now, street car, what would you build?
A street car?
Yeah. Well, you've probably got a couple in the shed, but we'll go have a look in a minute. But
yeah, there's a couple at the back. I don't know. Look, I've got the twin turbo Huracan.
Yep.
That's the quickest in Australia. So it's been 830.
Yep.
184 mile an hour.
That's a mile an hour for an 8.
Yeah, so it pours it on once you sort of get out to 60. So reason being is because it's got the 18s on it, and there's not much travel and suspension.
Yeah.
It's a bit hard to get it going. Sure. But once it gets rolling, you pull the boost in and it gets going. So
will that ever be raffled off with tough streeters or?
No.
That's yours?
Yeah, that's mine. Yeah, so that won't happen.
Speaking of the tough streeters, talk a little bit about that, mate. You've done what I want. I tell people the mecca of car events, that was like a Woodstock, that was huge.
It was cool. So we had a feeling it was going to be big. We were expecting maybe 10, 12,000 people.
Yep.
But to have the sort of amount that turned up was just mind-blowing. So
I would have estimated over 20,000 people walking around there.
Yeah, so I think it was about that 20,000 mark.
Yeah.
We definitely had I think it was 18,600 scan in.
Wow.
But there was, I don't know, there was about 1,700 cars that rolled up. They had passengers in the cars as well.
Yep.
And there was a couple of periods where we just had to get the flow going, so a lot of people come through.
Yep.
So I'm going to say there was about 20,000 people inside,
for sure.
And the vibe was awesome. Yeah, it was the atmosphere. It was really good.
And doing more of those in the future. What's the plan?
Yes. So we have another one coming up in next January. So I think it's going to be Jan 31st.
Mm-hmm. Down in Melbourne.
In Melbourne, back at Calder Park.
Yep.
But we've been in talks with access and traffic and ways we can make it better with getting people into the place. There was big issues with congestion. Yeah. Which is sort of out of your control in the sense that you had no idea it was going to blow up like that. It really is. So, it's just, when you have big events, you're going to have it. Like I had a mate yesterday going to the air show and he sat in the line for 2 hours and decided to turn around and go home.
I feel like, and this is a bit of a dig against Melbourne, I feel like wherever you go in Melbourne, there's fucking traffic everywhere.
Well, that's the problem. And I think, access points to a lot of these places, like whether it's Avalon Airport, Calder Park Raceway, wherever it is, a lot of the time there's only pretty much one or two ways in. Yeah. And when you've got, thousands or tens of thousands of people trying to get in, it's always going to be an issue. You go to the footy, you go to the soccer, whatever it is, you're going to get traffic.
And you can't please everyone. You just try to do the best you can.
Yeah. Yep. It's unfortunate. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'd hate to be sitting in the traffic as well, but it's just, it goes hand in hand with going to big events. So
sure.
Yeah. But we're working on making it better for the next one, definitely.
Yeah. And still sort of same thing, 1 day, you want to do a 2 day,
It'll be 1 day again. So,
cool. So January 30.
January 31st. So it's not official.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm pretty confident that's what date's going to be.
Yep.
So
would you ever do one and utilize the racetrack and have like a battle out or?
Potentially, but you seen what it was like. Like, can you imagine trying to get cars?
Oh, yeah. Again, you couldn't.
It was out of control. So,
it was a perfect recipe. Like, as a Queensland, I come down in summertime and I was like, oh, Melbourne, perfect. It won't be that hot. One, it was hot. It was a perfect day. Yeah. Fair enough, it was hot, but I feel like everyone just got their cars out because of the weather. Was it like the perfect storm or?
I think, it was a bit of a combination of all that. Yeah. So, the weather was great. It was probably a little bit too hot, to be honest.
Yeah, it got hot.
But it wasn't raining, so if it was cold or wet, I'm sure it would have been the opposite. So
what's coming up for you, Ricca, in the future, mate? What's in the next, say, 6 months? What do you got going on?
There's a lot going on, actually. Stuff we talk about and stuff that I can't talk about at the moment.
Yep. You're working hard. Off camera, we had a bit of a yarn, and you've got a lot going on at the moment.
There's a lot happening. So, we're really trying to push to make drag racing in Australia great again. So, I'm not saying it's terrible, but it's
definitely had a bit of a lull, though.
It's had a lull, definitely. So it's just going through a bit of a flat spot. And so many guys have said to me, "What are you doing bringing your car home, the black car?" leave it in America. You can run with the best in the world.
Yep.
You have a great team.
Yep.
You know, it just shows we can runner up at Lights Out.
Yeah, dude. Let's talk about that, brother. Like, how much of a badass experience was that? Like, getting in the car, then making the final.
Yeah, so...
Walk people through it, brother. Like,
again, like, my goal was going there was I wanted to run at 350.
Yeah.
Like, it was just something I always wanted to do. First time I let go of the button, it went at 374 and I was offered early. Then we went at 363 and then it went at 359.
Yep.
Which I was wrapped. So anything after that third pass we did was a bonus.
Which is fucking scary when you think about, like, third pass in a car and you're running.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
on radial. So we never had that car. The car's never been on radials.
Yep.
Yeah, then it just kept chipping away at it.
Yep.
And Petty's a gangster.
Yeah, sure.
He's like, he would say what it's going to run, and it would run it. Like,
that's correct.
Yeah, next pass and run 354.
Yep.
Bang, 354.
How do we get people like that? Can someone carbon copy him in Australia?
It's just years of experience. You know, it's just something you can't buy.
Yep.
It's yeah, he's just got.
How important is he in terms of a program?
Oh, he's probably the most important part of our program.
Yep.
So without Steve Petty,
yeah.
But look, there's other guys that are so good as well. You know, up at that level, like, you know, Brandon that's doing Grantley's car.
Yep.
Brandon Stroud.
Right. Yep.
He's killing it as well. Like, he's doing such a good job.
Totally.
You know, he's been cleaning everything up as well over there.
Yep.
Jamie Miller.
Yeah. It's badass to watch. Like, as an patriotic Aussie, it's badass to watch when you guys go over there. And fair enough, he's not talking about winning or anything like that, but you just go out there and you fucking swing for it. You're chopping trees down. And you watch people go to the finals or win. Man, it's fucking cool.
Yeah, for sure. So then I think on the seventh pass or sixth pass, we went a 349 with a 4, which blew me away. Like, I don't get emotional about stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I just roll with it.
Yeah.
But coming back through the pits and having, you know, all the Americans waving and cheering as we were coming through, and like even the crowd were cheering Aussie.
Yeah,
and
wow.
We're in their country.
Yeah.
And it was just it was unreal.
What are they like for Aussies? Like, are they receptive? Are they sort of happy to help for a bit, or do they see you going, fuck this guy, we got to look out for him, and they sort of back off a bit, or what is it?
They're all good. Like, I think once we qualified third at Lights Out.
Yep.
And I think that's when we sort of put people on notice that we're not just guys that go out and test cars and run numbers. Like, we can race.
Yeah, true.
And I think that was a big thing. So, you know, we'd be lining up ready to go out for our next round.
Yep.
And then, like, guys would be like, oh, you know, take it easy with us, you know. But these are guys that I grew up watching racing, and they're, you know, worried about us with racing. And
is that like a surreal feeling that you're getting people that are full-time race drivers and they're like, fuck, we gotta look out for you?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. So, like, even just standing there, like, I'm gonna get away from Lights Out for a sec. And when we qualified for World Series of Pro Mod, the top 32 cars, we had the chip draw that night. Yep. And we went into the office or the area where the chip draw was. Yep. And I'm standing there, and you've got like all these, you know, you've got Ken Q, you've got Street Outlaw guys, you know, Kai Kelly and Scott Taylor and Erica Enders and, you know, people like that I've been watching racing for years.
Victor, all those guys.
Victor Alvarez, you know, all them guys, people that I respect highly. And I'm standing there, I sort of felt out of place.
Yeah, right.
You know, I sort of felt like awkward, like, you know, like I sort of didn't belong in there.
Yeah, right.
But
then you come out and you fucking swing for it, and look where you end up.
Yeah, and we had a crack, but getting back to it, it was humbling, that's for sure. Being amongst that company and being able to hold our own. So
totally. I mean, watching that Ken Catuccio the other day run a 340, just bang, comes out.
Yeah, 347 yesterday. So it's crazy. So
where's the limit, brother? Like, how much faster can these things go before physics literally goes, we can't allow you to go faster? Where does it stop?
Well, I don't know. Look, if Petty said, you know, if we gave him 4 more passes on radials in that car, in RBW trim, you know, the car would probably go like a 345. Like for instance, like Ken's car's going 347 at 209, 110 mile an hour.
Yep.
We were going like 217. Like, so we've got the horsepower.
Yeah.
But we went into race day, and Petty's like, "What do you want to do? Do you want to race, or do you want to try and run a number?" Like, it's
can you do both?
Not really. So you got to sort of be a bit conservative and make sure
you go down.
You go down.
How much better are the tracks over there? Like in terms of the stickiness and the way that it gets done.
Oh, look, facility wise, Sydney's got it over all of them.
Yeah, wow. Sydney's a nice track though. Like the facility, I should say.
Sydney's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think we're spoiled here. Like, we're so used to, like, that's our home track. Like, I've got to drive 10 hours because there's nowhere in Victoria for us to test a car like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're so used to that. But look, racing surface and track prep is next level.
Yep.
Like, we would roll up to the track at lights out.
Yeah.
And 9 o'clock in the morning, it's still -2, -3 degrees.
Yeah.
The hottest that got throughout the day was 9 degrees.
So obviously the DA is quite good for horsepower.
Air was off its head.
Yeah.
Air that, you very rarely see. So we were lucky on that side of it as well.
Do you reckon we'll ever go as fast as what they're doing over there here, or as close to it?
I think, potentially, yeah. I can't see why not. Zeta's car, the Boogeyman, that went, 894 or something in the 60 foot here. So it just shows that, we, the guys here, Justin Simpson and Sydney Dragway, that they can put a good track on.
We just need the perfect weather.
Weather plays a massive, massive part. And like I said, the air was off its head and just everything aligned.
There's like that perfect storm, so to speak. Like Kenda a couple of years ago when it was just everything worked well when everyone was just running numbers.
Yeah, exactly. So, we definitely have the people in Australia to be able to put a track on to run with the best in the world. But it's just about, getting all the stars to align with air and weather and conditions and
of course,
everything else.
So you bring the car back home, you'll be focused on that. You won't run any other cars. I'm sort of more leaning towards you stay away from 275 with the Monaro that you've got going on.
So I sold the Monaro.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good for us in 275.
Yeah, so while I was over in the States, I got a phone call asking if there was anything available, and I sort of said, oh, well, the Monaro's there. I've got enough going on with the black car.
Totally.
So,
I was watching that getting built with the photos that you're putting up, and I was like, man, that is killer.
They come up really nice.
Yeah, dude.
Yep, so that's gone up to Queensland.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Yep. So I think it's getting a twin turbo big block put in it.
What?
Yeah, so that's gone. So my main focus is going to be the black car.
Yep, sure.
Coming back, Proline's getting it ready now.
Yep. And then here in Australia, Frank sort of looks after the combo, or who looks after the stuff here?
So engine side of things, Frank helps us out with, so Dandy Engines, help us out with anything we need with machining, anything engine related. So Paul Mahayat, Elite Race Parts, he'll still be doing all the tuning and that side of it.
Does he still hold a world record in some mile an hour description?
Well, he went 274 in the black car, the turbo car, which is now Mauler's car.
Yeah, okay.
So
man, I don't last, man.
Yeah, I don't know if that might still be the speed record. I don't know if really anyone else that's gone faster than that. Like even, Todd Moyer when he ran the 514 or whatever it was, I think it was still around that. So
that's badass. Yeah, moving.
And that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it just shows like how ahead of the time they were back then.
Yep.
So Paul's a legend, 2 Door Slammer championship. The first 2 seasons that he ran in it.
Yeah, wow.
And then they moved on from it. And before that, he had the 10.5 car. That they broke the 10.5 world record. And that's the thing too, with me, like I was always racing my VLs and my street cars in those sort of early, I want to say, from 2010 to 2015. And I'd go testing my street car at Sydney Dragway. And Paul would be there with, these off there Proline, Pro Mods. And that inspired me to want to do what we're doing now. So, guys like him, Rob Campese, Craig Burns, they're all guys that have inspired me to get into what we're doing
his
now.
Mustang's badass in itself.
Oh, that's gangster, the steel car. Yeah. It just shows, he's running with pro mods. So.
Yeah, perfect. Mate, speaking of cars, shall we go have a bit of a walk around and see what's happening in the shed here?
Yeah.
You've got a few cool cars.
Yes, here's a few.
So you got the Lambo and the Rotor.
Yeah, two totally different ends of the scale, really.
Yep.
So that's, Promo's built that for us. It's a 13B Bridgeport.
Yep.
GTX 42 turbo. 5-speed manual, just a cruiser. So
Yep.
it's actually going there tomorrow.
Beautiful.
To get tuned to still on the running tune.
Yep.
Obviously the precision racing build.
And one badass car.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
Yep.
So wild to drive. But hard to beat on the street, that's for sure.
Of course,
especially the mile an hour it runs. So.
Yep. And just the way it delivers power.
For sure, yep.
Yep.
It'll go down anything like it. Cootamundra, I think it ran a 845 at 182 mile an hour.
Wow.
And that's worse than the street out the front.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Loose stones.
Yep.
So.
And a couple under the cover here.
Yeah, so that one there above the RX3 is my red Tirana.
Yep.
We had at Summernats.
Yep. That's tough.
Yeah, it's made top 20 at Summernats and top 60s, twin turbo.
I'll load up some photos of that on here for you guys at home.
Yeah, so turbos.
Yep, and a nice little pipes at the bottom there. That's immaculate.
Yeah, and then 34 GDR up the top.
Yep.
Millennium Jade.
Yep. Very rare.
Yeah, there's heaps of them around.
Yep.
So,
And then over here's the VL.
that's my blue VL Calais that I've had since 2010. So
8.0s you ran?
8.0s
Yep.
at Jambo Brisbane in 2015, I think
Yep.
it was.
Wow.
So the old girl's been sitting for a while.
Yep. Do you ever get the itch to get it back out, or you got too much going on?
I do, and
Yep.
then I get an engine and trans in it, and
Yep.
then I get caught up with other stuff and
Yep.
then need the money or whatever happens.
Of course.
That's the first thing that goes. So.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. Badass. And here's the other shed with more toughies. So many nice cars.
So this side here is more of a storage facility for us. So
Yep.
guys pay storage. So if there's anyone that needs their car stored in Melbourne,
Yep. Beautiful.
Cars, there's always cars coming and going. And,
Yep.
a couple of tough streeted cars here.
And you guys raffle these things off.
Yeah, we do. So,
Yep.
through tough streeters. So
Yep.
these are cars that will be coming up. That
Beautiful.
will be paid. It's got an LSA in it.
Yep.
It's tubbed, VFG disc brakes.
Yep. All the good stuff.
Yeah, this LH Tirana's been 9.0
Yep.
aspirated. So it's pretty stout little thing.
Killer, yeah.
Pretty cool as well. Yeah.
Could never get sick of looking at that if you walked in here every day.
Nah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's actually quite empty at the moment. There's usually a few more cars, but there's a few coming back next week. So,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, cool.
A few GDRs.
Yeah, all of
T-Spec,
it.
T-Spec 35.
And they're both the same colour, or are they slightly different?
So that one up the top there is Silica Brass.
Okay.
That's an M-Spec. So
Yep.
they're quite rare as
Definitely.
well. I think there might only be 4 or 5 of them in Australia.
Yep.
And the Millennium Jade is the same as the 34 that's next door.
Yes, yep. Such a beautiful colour, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unreal. So that's going up to Sydney.
Yep. Awesome.
Tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, cool. Love it. Awesome, man.
All right, mate. So, a piece of advice you could give yourself 5 years ago.
Oh, it's a tough one. I don't know. I guess it was probably about 7 years ago. But I always worked for my boss.
Yep.
And just went to work, done my hours, and went home.
Yep.
And I made the decision to start up Race Parts Melbourne.
Yep.
And that, so I think,
Which is a pumping business.
yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
So everyone's sort of starting to get to know us now.
Yeah.
As well. So
And if guys want to buy some stuff, they get in contact.
So either online or
Yep.
or just ring the shop number and
Yep.
yeah, we're just a little speed shop.
We'll put a link down the bottom there.
Yeah, no, that'd be good.
So the advice, what would it be, mate?
Just have a crack.
Yeah.
So just if there's something you want to do, you just got to do it. Don't prolong it and think, we'll wait a couple more years. You just got to do it.
Yeah. No, I love that. Now, mate, another question I always like to ask is 3 cars which you'd like: a daily, a race car, and what I've called the fuck you car. What would they be for you?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest. Race car, I think the black car is the ultimate race car. Like, it's hard to sort of beat that.
Yeah.
Daily, I don't know.
You've got a fair few nice dailies by the looks of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been pretty lucky to be able to get onto some good cars with good pricing. But yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I'd like to get maybe like an Audi RSQ8 or something good for a daily.
Yeah. Yep. And then the fuck you car.
Oh, I want an SVJ.
Oh,
one day. Yeah. Hopefully I can get so.
Billy in Sydney's got one for sale, the yellow one?
That's an SV.
SV, okay. So
SV or SVJ, I'd be happy with either. Yeah, so they're both, gangster cars.
Yep.
V12, doors open up. It's just something I've this last dreamt of having. So hopefully one day get there.
Race Parts Melbourne, mate. What do you mainly do? Well, if someone wants to buy some stuff or they're in locally, where can they and what can they get from you guys?
We do hose fitting.
Yeah.
Got heaps of fitting.
Yeah.
So, hoses, fuel pumps, injectors,
all the stuff you need at the drop of a hat.
All the big name brands. So if we don't have it here, usually we get it overnight.
Yeah,
we get it quite quick.
Yeah.
We're competitive with pricing.
Perfect.
Tires, any of that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Do you do cheap tires? Cheap Mickey Thompsons? Is that a thing anymore?
I don't think that's a thing anymore. So yeah, we've got the PSRs and that sort of range here.
Yeah.
We do Mickey Thompsons as well, but cheap.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't so much. Yeah.
Ricca, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the channel, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming up in the future. You got it with a few things going on.
Yeah, should be good. So we're excited, and see how it all comes out.
Beautiful, awesome, mate. Thank you so much for that, brother.
Cheers. Thank you.